Most people hear St. Johns County growth and think it is just more rooftops in Nocatee and Silverleaf. In 2026, that picture is way out of date. We are talking an $820 million infrastructure blitz, a brand new entertainment hub on US 1, and a 7-story mixed-use project in West St. Augustine that will literally change what we think of as the center of the county. If you bought 3 years ago and thought you were on the edge of everything, you might wake up in 2026 and realize the bullseye has moved. Today, we are walking through the real 2026 roadmap for St. Johns County, why the map is changing forever, and what it means if you live here, invest here, or if you're trying to figure out where to buy next. Hey everyone, I am Kim Devlin, a realtor here in beautiful St. Augustine. I also help buyers and sellers in nearby Palm Coast. I spend a lot of time digging into not just what is on the market, but what is coming. Because if you only look at listings and ignore roads, schools, and county plans, you are basically guessing with your largest investment. So I've been following the county meetings, capital projects list, all the unglamorous documents. And in 2026, there's a clear pattern that affects where you should live, where you should not overpay, and which sleepy areas are not going to be so sleepy anymore. For the last decade, the big three master plan communities ran the show. You know the names: Nocatee, Silverleaf, and Rivertown. If you wanted new construction, you pretty much went to one of those three and called it a day. But here is what changed. In January, the county reported it finished 61 capital projects in 2025 and has another 59 scheduled to either start or be completed in 2026, totaling more than $820 million in infrastructure across roads, public safety, parks, utilities, coastal resiliency, and more. So the focus is no longer how many houses can we jam in along one corridor. It is, how do we widen State Road 16? How do we connect County Road 2209 to the areas people actually live in? Where do we place new sheriff, fire, and county facilities so the county actually functions? That is what I mean when I say the map is changing. If you are a homeowner, your value is less about, am I close to the newest phase, and more about, how close am I to these new government anchors, schools, parks, and 4-lane corridors? Let us talk about the communities everyone asks me about first, and then we will pivot to the surprising areas. Nocatee. Nocatee is not done, but it is definitely in its finished product phase. Recent updates from the developer say around 95% of the community is sold out with only a few hundred homes left. New home starts there are already down compared to prior years. That is normal. It is what happens when a master plan hits maturity. The upside for homeowners is stability. You are buying into a known thing. The downside is, from a growth perspective, most of the big appreciation wave already happened. Rivertown. Rivertown has quietly moved into that same maturing phase. Most of what is left are later phases and infill, not blank canvas. That does not mean it is a bad buy. It just means you should be realistic. You are not early. You are buying into an established riverfront lifestyle. Then there's Silverleaf, which is still in its teenager years. Lots of growth, a little chaotic, but a ton of potential. The county and school district have already planned a new K-8 capacity within the Silverleaf community in the form of a future school, often referred to as School QQ, projected around the 2026 to 2027 school year with roughly 1,500 students. That schedule can shift, but the point is, more schools are coming right within the community. When a large master plan community starts getting its own schools, full retail, and multiple big amenity centers, that is when it flips from pioneer phase to fully established. The key takeaway, with Nocatee almost built out and Rivertown filling in, the new build energy has shifted west and southwest towards State Road 16 and deeper into Silverleaf. The growth did not slow, it just moved. This is where a lot of people get it wrong. They say growth is finally slowing down. No, growth is pivoting, not disappearing. That is an evolving trend, but all the data points that way right now. Now, before we talk about the fun stuff like mini golf and the 7-story project in West St. Augustine, quick note. If you are looking at moving to St. Johns County and you are trying to decide between Nocatee, Silverleaf, Rivertown, or some of these up next corridors, that is exactly what I help people do. My contact information is in the description. Reach out anytime if you want help matching your lifestyle and budget to the right part of the county, not just the one with the prettiest website. For years, the number one complaint I heard from families up in North St. John's was, there is nothing to do here except drive to the beach or head into Jacksonville. That is starting to change. The county just approved a project called Nothing But Fun and Games on US 1, just south of International Golf Parkway. It is planned as a 16,000 square foot indoor entertainment space plus about 22,000 square feet of outdoor mini golf, along with arcade games, food trucks, and a small bar. In plain English, this is not just a putt-putt course, it is an anchor. Developers do not put that kind of square footage and investment on a corridor unless they believe two things. One, the nearby households have the income to support it. And two, the road network is about to carry a lot more traffic. And guess what? Ties right into that site, International Golf Parkway, and the new segment of County Road 2209. The county opened a $3.9 million 4-lane stretch of County Road 2209 from Silverleaf Parkway up to International Golf Parkway, giving locals a new north-south route without getting onto I-95. So we now have thousands of new homes in Silverleaf and along 210, a new 4-lane connector running right into International Golf Parkway, and a family entertainment complex popping up along US 1 between those two worlds. That US 1 and International Golf Parkway area is evolving, and one to keep an eye on. Now let us trade the suburbs for something a little more urban. West St. Augustine and the West King Corridor have been overlooked for a long time. You get beautiful oak trees, historic homes, and you are minutes from downtown, but investment has lagged behind. That is changing with what many people are calling the Browdy's Corner redevelopment. Local owners behind Browdy's Liquor have proposed a mixed-use project at US 1 and King Street with a 7-story building, retail, apartments, and a parking garage. It would be the tallest modern construction in the city, up to about 75 feet. We are not talking about a little building renovation. We are talking about something that effectively bridges the historic district and West St. Augustine. Let us call that Project Browdy's Corner, because that is exactly what it will become in people's mental map. At the same time, the county's Parks Capital Plan is working on projects including San Sebastian River Park, which adds more recreational space along the river and within reach of these neighborhoods. If you are a buyer who loves the idea of being close to downtown but cannot or will not pay historic district pricing, West St. Augustine is where I would be paying attention. You are still dealing with an older housing stock and pockets that need infrastructure love, so this is not a run out and buy anything situation, but we are seeing early signs that investor interest and resale prices in the West City are trending up faster than some of the far out suburban areas. That is an evolving trend, but is on my radar. Let us talk about the part of the map most people ignore until they are stuck in traffic here. State Road 16. St. Johns County is investing heavily in turning State Road 16 into a true east-west spine. One project, often called the State Road 16 International Golf Parkway Improvement, is roughly a $25 million effort to widen State Road 16 from 2 lanes to 4 between International Golf Parkway and County Road 2209, add sidewalks, improve intersection, and handle drainage. The Department of Transportation is simultaneously studying and planning additional widening from International Golf Parkway east toward I-95 and beyond, all the way toward the outlet area. Why does that matter for you as a homeowner or buyer? Because infrastructure is destiny. When you put a 4-lane road with sidewalks, turn lanes, and signals through what used to be basically a rural stretch, it unlocks large commercial parcels that did not pencil out before, higher density residential, and critically, sites for big public buildings. The St. Johns County Sheriff's Office has already been working on a plan to move its administrative headquarters to a complex near State Road 16 and I-95, with an estimated project cost around $18 million, about $14.5 million of that financed. That is not just a nicer office for the sheriff. When government chooses a corridor for a long-term headquarters, it is staking a claim. Think of it like this. Nocatee has its town center and civic spaces. St. Augustine has a historic core. And State Road 16 between International Golf and I-95 is shaping up to be the functional center of the modern county. Over the next few years, as widening and intersection upgrades move forward, I expect to see more town center style retail and services along that stretch. That is my professional read based on the projects in motion right now, and I would treat it as an evolving but very likely trend. So I'm curious what you think. If you had to place a pin on the map and say, this is the future center of St. Johns County, where would you put it? Nocatee, Silverleaf, the State Road 16 corridor, or West St. Augustine and the US 1 corridor? Let me know in the comments and tell me why. I read them and it actually helps me decide what to cover next. So here's your practical takeaway. How to use this if you are buying or selling. Let us land this in something that you can actually use. If you're already a homeowner here and you're in a mature community like Nocatee, you are probably in a stability phase. Prices may not rocket the way they did in 2020 or 2022, but the amenity and the school package is strong. If you're in Silverleaf or Rivertown, pay attention to where the new schools, parks, and commercial nodes are going. Being close to those adds long-term value, but also traffic, so it is a trade-off. If you're relocating and trying to figure out where to buy in 2026, look at the map of the county's 59 active capital projects and circle anything along State Road 16 and County Road 2209 and US 1 and West St. Augustine area. That is where the big structural changes are happening. Think about your lifestyle. If you want walkable, more urban energy, and you do not mind older housing, West St. Augustine might be an interesting early play as the Brownies project and nearby parks come to life. If you want new construction and master plan amenities, the western and southern edges of Silverleaf and the State Road 16 corridor are where a lot of the future is headed. And remember, maps change. Like, this plays out over years, not months. You do not need to panic. You just need to be intentional about where you want to buy a home. Now, if you want a deeper dive, give me a call and go grab my relocation guide. The link is in the description. And I will also link a video that breaks down some neighborhoods for you right here. If you are thinking about moving here or you are already in St. Johns County and you're wondering whether you should stay put, move closer in, or head somewhere like Palm Coast for a different pace, my info is right below. Reach out anytime. We can walk through your situation, your commute, your budget, and figure out the part of the map that makes the most sense for you. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and I will catch you on the next one.